Thank you for joining us on today. And welcome to Hello Monday. All right, so I just want to talk to you a little bit today. Um, and actually, what I want to start off actually is decreeing our 15 freedom truths. And I'm going to read them to you, and then we're going to get started with our lesson today. Well, number one, I am a new creature predestined for greatness. I am a child of God, fully accepted by the Father. I am loved by God regardless of how I perform. I am forgiven and will not be tormented by my past errors. That's in 1 John 1:9. Number five, I am an overcomer, and by faith is changing my circumstances. That's in 1 John 5:4. I am a giver, and God is causing people to help me prosper. That's 2 Corinthians 9:5. Number seven, I have authority over the devil, and no demon power can hurt me. And that's in Luke 10:17. Number eight, abundance is God's will for me, and I will not settle for less. That's John 10:10. And then number nine, I am healed, and sickness will not lord over my body. That's in 1 Peter 2:24. Number 10, God is on my side. I choose not to fear. That is Psalms 118:6. And number 11, the Holy Spirit is my helper. I am never alone, and I have the peace of God, and that's found in Philippians 4:7. Number 12, I am blessed, and it's a matter of time before things change. What I see now is only temporary. That's in Ephesians 1:3. And 13, I have the wisdom of God. I hear the Father's voice. My steps are ordered by God. I will follow God, and that's in 1 Corinthians 1:10. And 14, I am set in the body of Christ. I know that I am valuable and important to the work of God. That's found in 1 Corinthians 12:20-25. And 15, our last one, I choose not to be offended, and I am being delivered out of all afflictions and persecutions. And that's found in Matthew 5:10-12. Well, those are our 15 freedom truths on today. And today we are getting ready to get started once again. Welcome to Hello Monday. Yes, we get a brand new week to really to get in gear, to follow the plan of God for our lives, put some things in perspective, change some things if we need to change some things, do more of some things that we need to do. And so this week, I just believe is going to be a good week for you. This is going to be a marvelous week for you. You are going to leap over some things that you need to leap over into. You're going to push back on some things that you need to push back on. You're going to embrace some things that you need to embrace. And so this week is going to be an awesome, awesome week for you. I decree it so. And I need you to decree it over your life this week. This week, starting today, Monday, is going to be an awesome week for me. I am going to do some things that I've been put on hold, that I have put on hold. This is the week that I may have to delay some things. I may need to delete some things. I am going to just do an overhaul on my life and figure out what's working and what is not working in my life, that I can be better productive. All right, well, we just finished our 15 truths, and today I want to talk about how to say yes, 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 yes. Say yes to the things that God has called you to do. And so, what are you being nugged at from inside to do something different in your life? What is that thing that just kind of nugging at you that you know, I need to do something different? I need to believe something different. This is something that I know that I just kind of like, been putting on hold in my life. What is that thing? This week, I want you to identify this thing. Is there a greater future beckoning to you? If so, how do you respond? If your say yes muscle is weak, you are probably doing your best to ignore those promptings. Yes, we're talking about our say yes muscle on today. So you may be letting fears of failure and of losing security or other people perceptions get in your way. And so what am I doing to allow people to sabotage me from embracing my destiny? And so, and we're going to talk about that inner voice. That inner voice, that's that small voice that kind of keeps sabotaging you, that you need to learn to ignore. And so, the first step in strengthening your say yes muscle is opening up to listen, saying yes to at least hearing what your heart, is saying to you. So you got to put your fears on hold, and you can't look back. I'm gonna say it again. You got to put your fears on hold and not look back, because fear will hold us back. Fear is a sabotager of our destiny and our future. Maybe you haven't a clue what you're called to yet. For you, saying yes is simply answering the question, what are my gifts? What am I good at? Or how can I serve others? And so I got to tune out that external noise streaming in, from our life. And I got to listen. God, what are you saying? I know the voices. I know I'm hearing other things that does not line up with your word. I know that I possibly could be sabotaging myself. I could be talking myself out of a blessing. And so you got to allow clarity about your life purpose to emerge from within. I'll say that again. You've got to allow clarity about your life's purpose to emerge from within, because whether you know it or not, you know what your purpose is. You know what God has called you to do, and all you've got to do, you've got to awaken that thing. You've got to invite that thing to take center place in your life, and you've got to allow it to emerge from within, because it is already there. Every gift that God has given you, all the purposes of God for your life has already been established. It is nothing brand new. It is really nothing new that you're going to learn. I mean, it is already in there. All you've got to do is awaken it, and you got to know that you are worthy of God's best. Yes, you are worthy of God's best. So when you finally get clear about your calling, it's possible that people around you may not understand it. Why? Because your calling wasn't given to anybody else. It was given to you. It's as though you've been, have a very special assignment that only can be accomplished by you. And that's how you have to look at this thing. You have to look at it. You know what? God has called me to do a very special thing, something different from anybody else. Anybody else, they don't have this. And so what does your heart cry out to do? That's the question. What does your heart cry out to do? Maybe it's committing to, practicing a exercise class, on a Monday, going hiking on Tuesday, cooking dinner with your best friend on Friday. Your passion may say, take 10 minutes to draw or go, and sing outside in the backyard, or, turn them, turn the music up and, and do a dance, just to free yourself. And so you never lose sight of those things that make you feel wonderful and come alive. We are so caught many times in doing life and taking care of everybody else. The small things that we enjoy doing, like reading a book, or looking at a special program on TV, or taking a walk around the neighborhood, whatever it is, we need to begin to engage in activities that satisfy us, that cause us to feel good, and that causes us to celebrate ourselves. Ladies, we've got to celebrate ourselves. Even if it's over the smallest, minute thing, you've got to celebrate yourself. If you got all your water in on a particular day, girl, you need to satisfy yourself when you go to bed that night. I got my water in, because many times we overlook the small things that we have done and the accomplishments that we have made. And so we've got to celebrate ourselves. Don't you know that people will not necessarily celebrate you? You've got to learn how to celebrate yourself. And so you got to plan your passion and grow into your calling. That's another thing you got to do. You got to say yes. Put on, I say yes muscle. You got to plan your passion and grow into your calling. So saying yes to your calling doesn't mean saying yes to a life of scarcity, lack and fear. You got to honor your passion and pursue, but also respect your basic needs. Think about it. You cannot be creative and open to your highest good, if you're hungry, or the lights are off, or your bills aren't paid, with those those necessities taken care of. You won't be able to accomplish what you're here to do. And I'm sure that you heard the saying, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Once you said yes, to your dreams, give yourself all the tools and resources you need, which begins with a plan. Everything begins with a plan. And a plan has 3 levels. It has goals, it has milestones, and steps. So you start at the broadest level by defining your goal, the big dream you want to, happen in your life. Then you identify the milestones necessary to make your dream real. Then you back it down into more, and that's that manageable time-bound task. Then you move on to laying out the steps necessary to reach your milestone. Smaller specific steps necessary to reach your milestone. Smaller specific daily or weekly to-do list that can be checked off with complete. And all these three levels of your plan must be clear. They must be concrete. They can't be fuzzy. They got to be clear. So to strengthen your say yes muscle, you got to realize you are the most important advocate in life. I'm going to say that again. You are the most important advocate in your life. If you don't approve yourself, it does not matter what anybody else says. They can tell you you're the greatest person in the world. But if you don't approve and be the advocate for yourself, it does not matter what other people say. So your voice is the loudest voice you will hear. I'll say that again. Your voice is the loudest voice you will hear. And your voice is the voice that you will obey. And so I want you to do something about who you are today. I want you to say yes to you. Yes, starting today, I want you to practice it all week. I want you to say yes to you. Say yes to what you're called to do in life. Even, even if you kind of like feel like, what, I can't do this. No, I don't have the means to do this here. By faith, I want you to say yes to you. And so, what do I want you to do? I want you to hear and acknowledge what life is calling you to do. That's what I want you to do this week. I want you to hear and acknowledge what life is calling you to do. Number two is I want you to test the waters by saying yes in small ways. And number three, I want you to commit to playing it full out. Not little, not just kind of getting your feet wet. I want you to commit this week. I'm going to play out full, all right? And then I want you to stop harping on past failures. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm coming at you today. I need you to stop harping on past failures. I want you to take responsibility for your mistakes. I want you to learn to pick yourself up after falling down. I want you to focus on your strengths and build on them. Then I want you to identify your weakness and work on them. And then I want you to stop comparing yourself to others. I know I done gave y'all a whole list. I done gave y'all a lot of things that y'all need to work on this week. But I'm right here with you, honey. I'm right in here with you. So the only way to win is stop comparing our facts to others people's fiction. When you feel insignificant, you will settle for manufactured significance. I'll say that again. When you feel insignificant, you will settle for manufactured significance. Approval voids get filled with approval substitute. That's another one, y'all. Somebody need to type this one out. Approval voids get filled by approval substitutes. Toxic comparisons decreases your capacity to love yourself because it measures your preconceived liabilities against someone else's assets. Oh, y'all, that's a good one. I'm going to say that one again. Toxic comparisons decreases your capacity to love yourself because it measures your perceived liabilities against someone else's assets. And then another one. People value what we achieve only in relation to what others achieve. We do that all the time. Notice the voices you listening to. Notice the voices you listening to. Are they voices from yourself about you criticizing yourself? Are there voices from somebody else that seem like always saying what you need to do and how you're not measuring up and how you don't have it together? You are more than the degrees you earn. That's another one for you right there. You are more than the degrees we earn. So my self-worth and my worthiness does not come from the degrees I have or the degrees that I don't have. All right. And then the fumes of people's approval won't refuel you when your sense of purpose is on empty. So what we got to do, we got to fill ourselves up. We got to refuel ourselves with a sense of purpose because we do not want our purpose to be on empty. All right. So those were some key points that I wanted to share with you on today. We did our 15 freedom truths, and then we ended up today on our saying yes muscle. Say yes. Say yes, our yes to muscle. All right, ladies, that is it for today. But I want to end with a couple things, and I want to tell you that God is present everywhere. He is present everywhere and he knows everything. He's never surprised. He's never bewildered because he is completely aware of all events, your present, your past, and your future. And then I want to let you know that God is sovereign. There is no a higher authority. Our God possesses every ability he needs to be in absolute control of everything in your life. And then the last thing, nothing occurs without his divine permission. God commands the force of nature and he uses them to achieve his divine purpose. And God has a purpose just for you. Just for you. Nobody else. Nobody else. God have his hand on your life. I want you to think about. I gave you a lot of things to think about this week. I want you to meditate. I need you to go back and push the replay button to rehearse these things over and over again. All right, ladies, I am out of here on today. This has been Hello Monday with Linda Hodge. I'll see you on next Monday. You guys have a wonderful, blessed week. Bye-bye.